Hey guys, Superboy Guy here, coming at you with another Magic Arena video. Today we're going to be playing some Danny Trejo and Day 9 Singleton weekend event. So this is a Singleton event, which if you go 5-0, you get yourself a wonderful Golter promo card. So we're going to be playing a deck that actually wins with 5-0s. We're going to be playing, when I find it, Singleton, Green Stompy. So this is a deck that I actually played on stream the other day, and we managed to 5-0 with it on stream, and I 5-0'd with it off camera as well. So I do actually have some promo Golters. Let me get some Golter action in there. Let me get the right promo in. This is the one that you unlock if you go 5-1 or 5-0. So it's pretty sweet if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's a good way to get a rare. You only really need 3 of them in most traditional decks as well, so 3 5-0s is something that's quite achievable anyway. So this is the deck. I'm not going to go into every single card in absolute detail, but the basic strategy of the deck is here. If you want to check out the deck list, link to that will be down in the description below. So Green Stompy is essentially a green ramp deck, but we are actually going to be playing it a little bit differently to a traditional Stompy list. So we're not just going all in on the ramp, we're actually going to be leveraging a lot of card draw that is now in green in terms of the format. So we have the usual suspects, the Immortal Suns here to draw cards, Ripjaw Raptor draws a card when it's damaged, Shaper's Sanctuary draws a card when our things are targeted. We even have Beast Whisperer who draws us a card when we cast creatures, and from Ravnica Allegiance, the reason why I'm running this deck is actually Guardian Project. 3 and a green enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. So, if you're in green and you're running a creature deck, this is an auto-include. Because the fact that we're playing Singleton means that every single creature actually triggers Guardian Project, which turns them essentially into a draw a card. So this flavor, this rules textless Gigantosaurus here actually says draw a card if you have Guardian Project in play. So that's the idea behind the deck. So any other things that we want to include, our basic win conditions are some big Stompy boys. We of course have Golter Primal Hunger. My first 5-0 was actually destroying my opponent with Golter, so it was very flavorful when I got my promo for beating them. So he's very good indeed. We also have Gigantosaurus on 5, which is a 10-10, very good. The mana cost is not hard to achieve. The only reason you wouldn't get this on turn 5 is if you've missed your land drops or if you've drawn an arch along the way. But other than that, you should be all good. You can counteract the fact that you might have drawn an arch as well with a few of the ramp options. We have New Horizons, which you can stick to a land and allows you to add additional mana. We also have the Gift of Paradise as well for the same effect. And Druid of the Cowl, Elfhame Druid, and Incubation Druid as our 2 mana dogs. You may notice a lack of Llanowar Elves. Personally, I believe that Llanowar Elves is a trap in Singleton. It's a 1 mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool creature, which is very powerful if you have it in your opening hand, but if you don't have it in your opening hand, it is terrible. It is one of the worst draws you could possibly imagine. So instead I'm actually running all of the 2 mana docs, because at the very least these guys do have a little bit of synergy outside of just adding mana. So Incubation Druid can become a 3-5, so it fits the Stompy theme. This is the best of our mana docs. Elfhame Druid does have a kicker ramp effect, because we do run Grow from the Ashes. So if we do have Elfhame Druid and Grow from the Ashes in the same hand, we can actually use Elfhame to pay for the kicker cost, which means we can ramp super early, bypassing the downside of having to wait on Grows for kicker. And Druid of the Cowl is just a 1-3. I mean, I couldn't really add all of the really good mana docs, because there aren't many. So a 1-3 is basically better than a 1-1. So that's kind of why we're running them. We also have many ways to dig through the deck. In addition to card draw, we have things like Adventurous Impulse and things of that nature. Other than that, though, the deck is fairly simple. Removal options is mostly fight spells, Prey Upon, Rabid Bite. We have Titanic Brawl from Allegiance now, which allows you to fight at instant speed, which is really, really useful. Also gets a cost reduction when a creature gets a counter on it, which is it's not too synergistic with the deck, but we do have New Horizons putting counters on. Biogenic Ooze gets its own counters, that kind of thing. Also, Jade Light Ranger explores and gets counters. That's effectively the deck, though. The deck will speak for itself, I imagine, when we get into the games. Also, Helm of the Host. It's not so much a meme in this deck, it's actually quite powerful. Helm of the Host with Golter, or even Biogenic Ooze, allows us to do some cloney goodness. It's really nice indeed. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the games, and I'll see you there. Okay, we're in, and we don't actually have any ramp up to these Tyrants and Golters, but we do have an Adventurous Impulse that could maybe find me at least a land, and we do have a playable Thorn Lieutenant, so we kind of do have a curve for the first few turns. It's a little sketchy, but I'm gonna keep this one. I don't think we mulligan away a hand that has 3 playables in it. Alright, so let's just lead off with Adventurous Impulse. I think we just take the land. We just make sure that we actually hit our land drops, rather than taking a card that we can't currently cast. Red-green for our opponent. Okay, well, let's lead off with Thorn Lieutenant. If they want to bolt this off, we get an elf as a repayment, which isn't too bad. Sweet. Well, better than nothing. And there's our 4th land. So, I mean, we're going to be real slow, but it looks like maybe our opponent might also be. We'll see. Do they actually hit their land drop? They do. Okay. Into Draconic Disciple. I would love to be able to kill that, but my opponent killed my Prey Upon target, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to get up to this Carnage Tyrant the old-fashioned way. But we might end up dying before we get there. If we can resolve the Carnage Tyrant, then the Prey Upon should kill any dragon that our opponent plays, assuming that they are dragons here. They've done a fair bit of ramping, more than we have. This is actually the first time where my ramp plan has failed on me. That's it's a new one. Light up the stage, and they get a nice druid to ramp with. So we actually get Carnage Tyrant next turn, which makes Golter castable. So that's not too bad. Carnage Tyrant being very difficult to deal with as well should make it so that Golter is almost guaranteed to come down. I might even drop the Immortal Sun, honestly, before doing any of that, because it just reduces the cost of things, and we can do Carnage Tyrant plus Prey Upon then, if we really want to. Experimental Frenzy, squeeze me? Okay. This doesn't... maybe... I was going to say this doesn't really look like the kind of frenzy deck, but... Ooh, Guardian Project. Oops, that's me. Apologies. Let me just silence my phone. There we go. So, we probably want to just play the Immortal Sun. Guardian Project represents card draw, but so does the Immortal Sun. This allows us to hold up a 2/2 to block the Disciple, and just reduces the cost of everything as well, so should be good. So the greedy line is to lead off with Guardian Projects. Wow. An Experimental Frenzy deck that successfully cast an Aggressive Mammoth into a Golter off the top. So that happened. Yeah, I guess we can't really afford to not do this. We need to match our opponent's board and some. Our 13-13 beats your 12-12. So we can use Prey Upon for Golter to fight Golter. Short of a burn spell, that should be pretty good. Successfully casts a Plaqueworm. My opponent is a god. But they won't attack here, right? And there's no reason to, when you're tapped out, you can't... Well, you got 2 mana, I guess. Yeah. Doesn't seem worthwhile. So we can do Guardian Project, so that our Incubation Druid draws us a card and gives us some more options. Sylvan Awakening is quite nice. prey upon Golter, fight Golter, just so it's out the way. Because our opponent's playing off the top of their deck, which means they're likely to not have an answer. They've basically permanently got one card in hand. And then I think we just pass. We can eventually outvalue them with a Sylvan Awakening. And I think this Frenzy is going to hurt them more than help them. But Jesus Christ, did anyone ever think that Aggressive Mammoth into Golter, into Palaka Worm off of an Experimental Frenzy was a thing that could happen? I wasn't. I wasn't aware that was going to happen. Ever. Rhythm of the Wild. Okay. So he gives things Riot. So we have to be aware that essentially every creature coming out of the top of his deck is going to be hasty. Alright. Takes a land off the top. Wayfinder with Riot and Trample. Coming in with a counter. Alright, so this allows him to put a creature or a land on top. He's going to put a land there so that he can draw it next turn and not have to hit it with Experimental Frenzy. He's weirdly making Frenzy work. Wow. Good draws. Sarcasm. That was sarcasm. Alright, well, Grow from the Ashes with Kicker. Thin our deck. And then we've got an Arch of Araska, which will leave us with 2 mana. We could also do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add here, we'd have 4 mana, but we'd have extra mana in general. I think I actually want the card draw rather than the Druid. Because we've already got enough mana, so the ramp's not really getting me anywhere. My opponent now keeping up with me in terms of card draw with the Colossal Majesty. But it's kind of a number with Experimental Frenzy anyway, so unless he's going to crack Frenzy, he's going to be discarding to hand size and not actually getting much benefit from that ability. Riot. Hits Rejuvenate. I'm going to stick that on top, I imagine, so that you can cast it. He's doing it, chat. He's doing it. Zertar Goblin. Doesn't actually want these castables. That is very interesting. He risks just putting lands on top. Which is probably not something you want to do. I feel like I would have had at least the Rejuvenator to thin a land if I was my opponent. So we do need some good top decks, some good draws. We're not really going to be running on top decks because we have Guardian Project redrawing whenever we hit a creature. We have Immortal Sun drawing as extra card, and we have Arch of Araska. So it's not really top decks. Ouch. And he's got 1, 2, 3 mana left. Well, we don't have to worry about Chain Whirler killing my elf token. Trying to think what 3 mana spell he could have. Rabid Bite. Fighting my druid. Okay. So I'm glad I didn't put any counters on that. Do we get an Alpha Strike coming from our opponent here? I mean, everything has Trample. It would be about the time. I'm kind of regretting not actually killing Aggressive Mammoth, if I'm honest. Because of that Trample effect. I figured having a 12/12 there that might potentially just murderize me was a bigger threat. We might be able to do some crazy stuff here, so let's see. We go Gorklaw, draw a card, reduces the 4 mana cards down to 2, which means we can cast more. I should have played Beast Whisperer first, actually. That was a mistake, but we get to draw anyway. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Rejuvenator. Draw a card. Rip a land, potentially. Draw another card. We're both doing our thing. Goes without saying. Vine Mare, draw 2 cards. There's a Harpooner. Shape of Sanctuary is fine, I guess. Draw a card, draw another card. Can't fight anything, unfortunately. Steel Leaf's not too bad. And I could take the Prey Upon and put it back in my deck. Maybe the Adventurous Impulse as well. Or do I want to have the ability to defend myself from being targeted? We're kind of going wide now, so we've blocked off our opponent in that regard. Yeah, I guess being targeted is probably something I want to cover. So that's likely going to be part of the plan when my opponent wins here. I'm a little afraid of overrun effects, but I'm sure my opponent is equally afraid of such things. We don't really run any, we just kind of go value and just try to draw more cards than our opponent. Hits a Dreadmaw. And a Cindervines, alright, non-creatures start pinging us. And they can kill enchantments and artifacts here. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're going for Guardian Project? Or Immortal Sun. Immortal Sun is a Lord effect as well. Shutting off Planeswalkers if they're running Domri. Yeah, they're gonna hit Immortal Sun here. So reduces the team. The team's still pretty thick though. But that is annoying. We're still drawing 2 cards every creature though. And they're just going to pass. Alright, the longer they pass, the better it is for us. So, I'm not going to play my land yet, because if I hit the Memorial, I'm going to want to play that instead as a tap land. Or potentially, anyway. So until I actually need to play my land, I shouldn't. Multani is a card. Multani is quite the card. Ooh, and Palaka Worm. We even got a Titanic Brawl as well. So we could fight. Have Aggressive Mammoth die and take away all of the trample. Yeah, I think we want to do that. We're going to Gift of Paradise. And I think we pass. We use Titanic Brawl on our opponent's turn, just in case they attack with trample in mind as part of their combat calculations. We already have like 2 targets here that can kill the mammoth anyway, so it should be difficult for our opponent to actually fizzle this. Especially if the fact that they've been playing everything pre-combat as well. Gigantosaurus, okay. It's not as big as my Multani. 21 cards to his 17. He has dug further than me. Oh dear. Incubation Druid. I'm not even sure if he's ever hit a double land pocket. I think he's just run out of mana. Because he's been drawing all of his lands, hasn't he? So look how many he's discarded. Does he get bored? And Alpha Strike. Also, Titanic Brawl, because it's instant speed, allows me to block a creature first and then fight the mammoth. So I can actually prevent 1 damage here, kill this, take off all the trample. Pretty sweet. Alright. And that's exactly what I'll do if he goes with this. Alright, let's do the math. So we want to go to blocks. We want to block here, here. Why can't you be blocked? Oh, you're not attacking. Good, good, good. I thought it was an all attack, and I was like, oh yes! So we're not afraid of having Multani die in combat because he can come back. Let's have you block here. You block here, I guess. You here. You here. And you here. That's everything blocked. Then we Titanic Brawl once we get priority back. If we get priority back. He's got 2 mana to spend. Colossus. So that gets trample. And now he's tapped out. So Multani fights the Mammoth. Now everything doesn't have trample. What was blocking this? I don't even remember. We're at 17. Let's have a look what we're at. Oh, we're at 2. We are at 2. Alright. That's pretty sketchy. We're going to actually gain some life though with Palakawa, and we're going to go up to 9. And then we have a big swing back as well, if we want it. Because Goreclaw is going to give trample to our stuff. We also have Sylvan Awakening as well. So let's do the Sylvan Awakening math, shall we? 13, 14 lands. That's 28. Yeah, we win. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it's 13, so it's 26. But still. Sylvan Awakening. And swing. All of my bigger stuff gets trample. He's only got 2 blockers. Yep, and he's dead. So I guess we do kind of have an overrun, in a weird way. It's not really the overrun kind of effect, but it has the same outcome. Oars of Racketeers, what? Deals combat damage to a player that player discards a card after life 2. Meh. Fair enough. 1-0. That was a long game, but it was a spicy one. Spicy one indeed. But yeah, let's go for another one. Okay, we're in, and we do have Thorn Lieutenant on 2, and if we get 1 land, being on the draw, that's pretty cool. We get either Rejuvenator or New Horizons into Gigantosaurus and Carnage Tyrant. Pretty nice curve. It's literally 2, 3, skip 4, all the way to 5 and 6. It's not bad. Not bad at all. All we need is lands, and there's one right there. Okay, we're actually playing Magic today, which is good. I like Magic. It's not bad. So we seem to be up against maybe Merfolk, maybe some sort of counters meta strategy. Regardless, maybe somebody's playing like Simic Ascendancy. It could also just be mono green, I suppose. I would never run Jade Bearer in a mono green list like this one, but I guess if you wanna. I think they're just stuck on green though, if we're being honest. Oh, he's coming at me. I didn't think so. I was not going to block it anyway, but it'd be nice for you to tell me you had a pump spell. Alright, well, we could pump up Thorn Lieutenant, or I could just go with the Rejuvenator plan. This is guaranteed ramp. This is nearly guaranteed ramp. But we definitely have the Gigantosaurus next turn, so I'm just going to do this. Short of enchantment and artifact removal, we should be okay. Yeah, we'll swing. Yeah, I guess that's the only way you could say it's not guaranteed ramp. Where Rejuvenator is a little bit more likely to get something that sticks around. But yeah. It's pretty cool. Oh boy. Alright, so. They got Blanchwood Armor, so they have a 5-5. I have a 10-10. What say you, opponent? They are mono green as well. You don't run Blanchwood Armor in a multicolored deck unless the other color is a light splash. So we do actually have Thorn Lieutenant's activation here as well. We can pay 6 to give him +4/+4. Which puts us above Jade Bearer. So if they do block the Thorn Lieutenant, we can get some value there. They also have a double block here, unfortunately. Not much we can do about that, but the longer we wait, the worse it's going to get. So if they want a double block, then we will absolutely take the Jade Bearer block. Just because of the fact that it's going to get a lot bigger over time. And if I wait for my answer, my own Blanchwood armor or something like that, then this is just going to get out of hand, and eventually this Gigantosaurus isn't going to trade very well at all. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Trample. Interesting. Troll Frog Warrior, as you do. Sick art. His favourite food is crawl. Oh boy. Also, by killing the Jade Bearer as well, if we get it now, it does mean that the Carnage Tyrant's toughness isn't going to be an issue, because, of course, Gigantosaurus a little bit better at going through 6/6s than Carnage Tyrant is. Well, I guess it depends on how you want to go through. If you want that 1 point of trample damage, then sure, Carnage Tyrant's better, but if you want it to live, it's all about that Gigantosaurus. Game's just not going our opponent's way today, I don't think. Alright, well, they passed. We drew a land, which is not ideal. But we can play a land and we can swing with both. If they block, we're not too bothered about a backswing. If they don't block, then we're hitting them for lethal. Let's see if they see it. They have to block something. You know, it wouldn't be the first time I've seen someone forget that Thorn Lieutenant has a pump effect. They're at 4. They got a 6/6, and we're threatening lethal on 2 separate creatures. So I'd say they can't really afford to attack in. Centaur, Corsair. Well, if you wanted to write chump block in the flavor text, that'd be the reason for running this card. You need another creature, otherwise you're dead. I guess they could have Fog. Oh god, what happens if they have Fog? If they have Fog and I commit to this Thorn Lieutenant, I actually lose. They wouldn't be running Fog, would they? I can't play around Fog. Come on now. Maybe if they Fog me at the wrong time, like now, would be the wrong time. Dang it. Going to blocks, that bodes well. Oh. Well, now I don't need to pump. Haha, they did have it. Oh, you got me, opponent. You got me. But if you'd have blocked the Gigantosaurus, you would have won. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to go wide. If they have a fight effect, then I'll be happy to have more bodies back to block. Yep, they would have legitimately won if they'd have blocked with Gigantosaurus, because I would have probably felt the need to put that extra point into Thorn Lieutenant, which would have tapped me out, left me with no blockers. Jade Bearer swings for the victory. 'Twas not meant to be, and we are not taking any chances. We're just going to double block here. Since they can't possibly put 2 creatures down, I don't think green has a way of doing tokens. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe they do. Don't tell me you got another one. Don't you do it. He's got another one. Good God. Good job, I've got Carnage Tyrant. Wow. Opponent. How could you? Well, now it's a land. You can't fool me this time. Also, there's only 2 good fogs in the format. Just check I've blocked correctly. There we go. You got me, opponent. You got me. Nice try. Yeah, you can have a good game. That was some... whoa. Sneaky tactics right there. Sneaky indeed. I guess that's why you put fogs in your deck. Sweet, we got a pack. Let's open the pack. It is... Ooh, mass manipulation. Kind of cool, with spoopy eyes. I like the spoopy eyed art. It's very good. Well done, Anthony. Alright, let's go for our next game. Okay, we've got 3 lands and we start the game on 3 with some pretty decent 3 drops as well. Some very thick booty elves and dinos here. Yeah, we're going to take this. If we get a land as well, we get the circuitous route, which almost certainly leads into Golter if everything sticks around. If everything sticks around, we're probably just going to win anyway, because Steel Leaf is very powerful. What are we up against? A low to the ground deck would be nice. Well, there's our 4th land for circuitous route, so we're definitely playing today. That's pretty good. Ooh. I think we're going for this. They could have had Essence Scatter there, which would have made me want to lead off with a weaker creature, but I think hedging my bets that they don't worked out in our favour. We could do the circuitous route. This does look like a counterspell to me. But I do like thinning my deck, and this isn't likely to get countered, right? If it is, I'm kind of fine with that, because it means that these are going to live. Alright. Well, now we thin our deck. Which means that we're going to draw more gas, which makes counterspell decks a little bit better for us. Gaia's Blessing is okay. Allows me to put the good cards back in my deck, like if they kill... Carnage Tyrant or something like that. I can shuffle it right back in. I have no intentions of doing that right now. We're going to lead off with Thrashing Brontodon. Pretty sure this is going to eat a counterspell. No? I'm suspicious. We could have lethal with Golter. But if he goes land, Wrath, I'm going to cry. So I'm not going to overcommit. Got a Chemist's. Okay. Yeah, no overcommitting to this board, I think is probably for the best. If he didn't have a wipe or a counter, I think the combination of those two is very unlikely, but if he didn't, then we have just missed lethal. But I feel like the odds are so insanely low that that'd be the case. You see, now I could play my Golter because I can likely... Why are you running Immortal Sun in the same deck as a Teferi? Does this win us the game? 2, 4, 6... Yeah, I think this wins us the game. Unless, like, does Moment of Craving save him? Oh dear. Yeah, so they could have had a removal spell for the Steel Leaf there, which I would have tacked into Teferi, had I not drawn Sylvan Awakening. I would have attacked into Teferi to threaten to kill him, which would have made my opponent drop their guard. And I think I should, at that point, be able to cast Golter. I'm not quite sure, but... Alrighty then, we have 2 lands on the draw. So a 2-lander on the draw is usually reasonable if you've got lots of 3-mana ramp. We've got a New Horizons here. Colossal Majesty later and Beast Whisperer. If we can just find a land for New Horizons, this deck, this hand specifically, can do a lot of stuff. I'm going to take this one. We'll see. Opponent with the Forsaken Sanctuary, and there's a land off the top. We are running 24 lands in this list, so we're not running any more than any other deck, so you can treat your land drop chance. Oh boy. Takes New Horizons, I assume. You can treat your chance of drawing forests and your land drops in general just as much as you would any standard deck. Takes Colossal Majesty? Huh? Okay. I would have taken New Horizons. But that's just me. Get Alfheim Druid. So we can play Beast Whisperer next turn. We can skip the New Horizons entirely. So even if they had taken it, we would have gotten out of that situation. Maybe they kill Elfame Druid. I doubt it, though. Alright. Skyblader Legion. A 1/3 flyer for 2. Says to me, we're actually legitimately up against Vampire Tribal. So I kind of feel like we're favoured. What I want to do is... I do really want Beast Whisperer into something like Carnage Tyrant, but with the Memorial being tapped, it's kind of awkward. So I could either do Beast Whisperer or New Horizons, but I can't do both. Beast Whisperer won't draw me a card, is the thing. So let's just do that, and then stick a counter on Elfame Druid. It gets it out at Moment of Craving range, which is the Flavor Win removal of choice for our opponent. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can jump straight into Carnage Tyrant if we want. Likelihood is I still want to play Beast Whisperer though. Ugh, Burglar Rat. Well, poop. I'm just going to drop the land, I think. Could come back to bite me. But I'm going to drop a Beast Whisperer instead. We still have a playable without that land. I can even swing through the Burglar Rat as well. Oh, sweet. You know what? It is Carnage Tyrant time. Let's not be greedy about it. Our opponent hasn't really threatened me. They seem to be underpowered to deal with the Carnage Tyrant, short of them just playing a land and passing to hold up, settle the wreckage. I don't think we got too much trouble. Twilight Panther, on the other hand, gets Death Touch. Ouch. Okay. An annoyance. Certainly. One that trades with the Carnage Tyrant. Huh. Well, that works. We can prey upon the Twilight Panther with Beast Whisperer, I guess. I really don't want to have to do it that way, but I do think Carnage Tyrant's going to win me this game. So, Beast Whisperer. Death Touch applies during fight, by the way, so it's one of those few mechanics that does, which is why I'm not going to fight with my Carnage Tyrant. So yeah, they want to... It's a 2-for-1, but we get a Carnage Tyrant hitting, so I think it's a worthy 2-for-1. Yeah, I should have swung with my Druid as well. It's a punt. Getting ahead of myself. Alright, take 7. And suddenly we're ahead. A land drop and I can play Palaka Worm, that'd be very nice. So actually, I'm officially stumped on what this deck is. I don't think it's got any theme to it, really. I thought it'd be vampires, but we have a rat and we have a spirit here, so I guess it's just Orzhov good stuff. Hi, Cell Wreckage. Nice to see you. Played Druid, and I will swing into this Settle the Wreckage. The reason for that is we also have a Memorial to Unity to find me another creature, but the land I get from being settled here allows me to play Palaka Worm next turn. So I'm not afraid of your bluff, which I think is exactly what you're doing. Cool. Good bluff, sir. Good bluff. You almost got me. Your main failing was I had options, and those options benefited from a land drop. They also benefit from this Incubation Druid as well, so it's really a win-win. Yep, take 1. Passing. Rex Sage doesn't change the math. So, swing. This is a swing for 6. Short of life gain, we're okay. They have the Settle the Wreckage. Hence the lack of an attack there, which allows me now to play Polaka Worm as my follow-up threat to kill. And I gain 7 as well. It's quite nice. And now we don't have to worry about Settle the Wreckage, so short of Death Touch creatures, this guy's coming through. I guess, like, the best draw... What's the best draw for us? Maybe, like, Blanchwood Armor? I don't know. Maybe just another big creature, I guess. Another thick boy. Diamond Mare. Well, you can get Rexaged. You've given me a use for you. Oathsworn gives them a life, so they survive. I'm probably not gonna Rexage the Diamond Mare, because I don't really need to. Instead, I might adapt the Incubation Druid for another 3 points there instead. Does that change the math? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can do all of this, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I can adapt and then play my Forest, Incubate, Rexage. Yeah, this kind of works out. Adapt 3. I like this line a little bit better. Make a 3/5, play a land. Don't do what the game was wanting to do there. Rexage killed Diamond Mare, gets 3 toughness out of the way. And a life gain engine. Which combos quite nicely with Oathsworn Vampire, funnily enough. And swing, swing. He's not dead, but he's on life support. Moment of Triumph. To gain life. Because you can't kill anything, so you're taking 6 here. And you get to keep your Skyblade around. Board wipe or bust. Epicure will not do it. Another land is unfortunate. Maybe we can get something off the Memorial. Jade Light. Doesn't really change the math. Let's just go for it. Swing. 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that is enough to kill Polaka Worm on a triple block, but now you can't afford to triple block if I all attack. So, Polaka Worm lives or you die. Yep, you're dead. He wanted to go out swinging though, taking something with him. Polaka Worm bit the dust, but for a worthy cause. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. We ended up going 4-2 in the Singleton event, which is less than ideal, of course. Anything short of 5-1 is going to be a wee bit disappointing, because I do really just want my Golters. I already got my 4 Duresses, which are pretty sweet. But yep, this deck is pretty solid. It does quite consistently get 4 wins at the very least. So if you're playing the traditional Singleton, you will end up coming out on top, I believe, in terms of rewards. I can't remember the exact reward structure because they keep changing it. But this is a reasonable deck that you can run in most Singleton weekends. It's obviously capable of 5-0s as well, because we have achieved them in streams as well. So be sure to play this deck if you do enjoy the mono green ramp Stompy strategy. It's a hell of a lot of fun, draws a lot of cards, plays a lot of big boys. So Thanks very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to see more Singleton stuff in the future. It helps out the channel a great deal, more than most people think that it does, so greatly appreciate all of you who do those such things in helping out the channel. Be sure to leave comments as well to let me know what you guys have been playing and what you've been successful with, and maybe I'll return for the next Singleton event with one of your decks. Who knows? Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.